As if drama school auditions weren't challenging enough, you have got different schools pulling you from pillar to post with their different requirements and their different processes and their different deadlines. And I get it, each school is unique and each school has a unique way of working that is true to them and to their ethos and their process within the school. And that is all important for them to gauge your readiness and suitability for training. But damn, do they not make it easy for you. Maybe that's not a bad thing. With challenge comes reward and it separates the wheat from the chaff, as they say. But for a fair few actors who are auditioning at multiple different schools, it can seem like an all-consuming task just to figure out what the schools actually want and how to stay organized amongst the chaos of it all. So I'm going to take you through a few things to keep your head above water and your ducks in a row, so you can concentrate on the most important and the most fun aspect of it, which is the acting. Okay, so the few things that we're going to concentrate on are deadlines, material, and speech length. So, different schools have different deadlines for their applications. Now, if you apply through UCAS or UCAS Conservatoire, they all have the one deadline. So that keeps things fairly simple. But for other schools, they have their own deadlines. So if you are looking at multiple application deadlines, then I recommend this. Apply when it comfortably makes sense to you in terms of getting all of your information together, your personal statement, finding speeches, all of that kind of stuff, and apply to every single school all at once, because it's so tricky to keep a handle on everything if you were applying for different schools at all of these different times, because you might be writing a personal statement for an application over here whilst you're prepping for a recall over here, whilst you're finding a speech over here and a song over there, and it just becomes way too complicated. Applying to all of your schools at once keeps it organized, because then you'll step forward in the process from first round to recall round roughly around the same time for every school, instead of staggering them all over the place and getting confused. Material choices. Specifically, what a school deems to be classical and what it deems to be contemporary. And also the nonsense of mandatory speech lists. Different schools describe contemporary and classical language slightly differently. For contemporary, some schools say that you must have a speech that was written and set from 2000 till now. Other schools say from 1960 till now. Others say in the last 10 years. And I say, keep it simple and go with the school's recommendation that is the most recent. So let me give you an example. If you were auditioning for 4 different schools, one school says 1960 till present. Another school says 1990 till present. Another school says from the last 10 years, and another school just says contemporary and doesn't specify a date. Which one are you going to go with? You're going to go with the one that says in the last 10 years, because that covers you for all 4 of those schools. And if it covers you for all 4 schools, you use one speech for all of them, because you want the least amount of material to cover you for as many schools as possible. Now, for classical speeches, some schools just say Shakespeare. Others say Shakespeare and his contemporaries. Others say you can choose anything from Greek tragedy to Restoration comedy to Chekhov to whatever. But again, you want to choose material that is going to cover you for as many schools as possible. So the simplest approach is just choose Shakespeare, because you know that that is going to be accepted by every single school that you apply for. Because if you choose a Chekhov speech for that one school that says you can choose Chekhov, you know that you have to find other speeches because the other schools don't want Chekhov. And also choosing Shakespeare has many, many benefits, because there are so many resources readily available online and none of his works are behind a paywall. Restoration comedy, not as easily accessible. Now, if you're finding that you are applying to multiple schools and you are really struggling with keeping all of this different information organized in one place, then I have you covered. My online coaching platform, act.cool, has all of the key audition information for the top 19 schools in the UK. And we've compiled all of this information so that it is in one place and it is easy to digest and easy to access. And we've done that hard work so that you can streamline your process, so that you are saving time and you are saving yourself a heck of a lot of stress. So all of the information for getting on the platform is in the description box below. I seriously cannot recommend this enough. And that neatly brings me on to the speech list thing. Lambda and Italia Conti both have mandatory speech lists for their classical speeches. And again, on the act.cool platform, we have listed what speeches are are on what lists, and also what overlaps. So if you're applying to both of those schools, then these are the speeches that you can actually use for both of them. But Guildhall is now saying that if you are auditioning for schools that have mandatory speech lists, please choose a speech that is not on that speech list if you're auditioning for us. Boo. Guildhall. Jokes. So in this case, if you were applying to all three of those schools, you sadly can't just have one speech that covers you for everything. But the good thing is, if you do have a separate speech for Guildhall, you can use that speech when it comes to recall rounds, because the schools will be asking for new material when you get to second stage. Win-win. Speech lengths. It's the same thing that I've been saying so far. If you've got different schools with different speech length requirements, do not have a different cut version for different schools. One, that is crazy, and how you keep track of that I do not know. You just want to cut your speeches down to the length that is the shortest for the schools that you are applying for. So again, if school 1 wants a speech that's 2 minutes long, and school 2 wants a speech that is 3 minutes long, and school 3 wants a speech that is 90 seconds long, you go with the shortest amount and you apply it across the board, and that's 90 seconds. And that's actually the speech length that I personally recommend, and that is a decent length for you to explore a character and a journey, and it also gives you more time in the room getting redirection and chatting to your audition panel. Because if you have a speech that is 4 minutes long, then the audition panel only has time to go through that speech once and not really much time to do anything else. So cut it down to the shortest amount for the schools that you're applying for, and again, it's a win-win. In the end, you always want to be choosing the least amount of material to apply for as many schools as you can. That basically means that there is less prep time, it's less stress, it's less time consuming for you, and all of the schools are happy. And you want the schools to be happy. You want to give them what they want. And half the battle, sadly, when you are applying to multiple schools is the admin side of things. So the best thing that I can suggest is signing up to the Act.co platform, because that is going to really give you the edge. It is going to give you support. It is going to keep all of your information nicely organized. So if you are looking to make this the year that you finally get into drama school, then all of the sign up details are in the description box below. I really hope that you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.